So in this question we have two containers with different capacities, and initially the large one is full of water and the smaller one is empty, and we're going to pour water from the large container into the small container until they are equally full. And we're talking about these values P and Q. So the volume of water in the large container is P times its capacity, and the volume of water in the smaller container is Q times its capacity, and we want to know which of these statements about P and Q is true. So we're going to end up with, we just label these L and S so that we don't have to keep writing out larger container and smaller container. So we're just going to think about some statements about this question. So first of all, we have that we can say that the volume of water we have is 1 metre cubed. This WLOG means without loss of generality, which sounds very fancy, but what it basically means is it's not going to change the question if we just assume that we have 1 metre cubed of water, because we don't know what it is, so we could just call it S, but it's not changing throughout the question, so we can fix it to be whatever we want. We could call this 1 million, we could call it 2, we could call it whatever we want, but we've chosen 1 because it's just nice and easy to deal with. So the second statement we can say is we're just going to talk about this phrase in the question, equally full, and this just means that we have the same amount of water in each container. So if we start with 1 metre cubed of water, then we're going to have 0.5 metre cubes in each container at the end here. So we know that the volume of L is 1 metre cubed because it's just the same as the amount of water because it's totally full at the start. And so we know that P must be a half. And we know this because the volume of water is just half what it originally was, and P times 1 will give us a half. So the volume of water is a half times what it was originally. So now let's have a look at the volume in the small. We know that S is smaller than L. We're told this. The smaller container is smaller than the large container. And so it's going to be more than half full because we're taking half of the water in L and pouring it into a smaller container. And if you imagine doing this, if you had a huge 2-litre bottle of water and you tried pouring it into a 250ml bottle of water, then you couldn't pour half of it in because it's a smaller container. And so we know that Q must be greater than a half because because the volume in the smaller container is more than a half times its capacity, and so Q must be greater than a half. And so we get the answer is C.